Welcome, guys, to another episode of Tech It Up with Cafe Cultura. Es tu chica Jayla. And today, on this awesome episode, we have Neta Glaser from Hakala Medical. Hello, Neta. Welcome.
Hey Jada, good to see you.
Good to see you too. Let's jump right into it. Tell us a little bit about yourself and also a little bit about Hakala Medical.
Sure thing. So I'm a biomedical engineer, and Hakala Medical is a medtech startup. And what we're doing is we're revolutionizing surgery and making complicated surgery safer for millions of patients per year.
That is amazing. As somebody who is going through personal illness, going through surgeries and certain things, it could be scary. It could be very terrifying, especially when you're like, is this safe? Is it really not safe? Who do I trust? Who do I not trust? Um, Tell us about where you started yourself, what school you went to, or how you got into your field.
Sure. So I got into biomedical engineering. I was interested in medicine at a very young age. When I was really little, my mom broke her leg, and I felt like I couldn't really do anything to help her at the time, but I was really passionate then about doing something medical and helping patients in the future. Uh, so I ended up studying biomedical engineering at the University of Southern California, and then I worked in the space from graduation onward. So my first job out of college was to be an R&D engineer at a company that makes implants and instruments for spine surgery. And then I moved to this company called Medtronic, which is the largest medtech company in the world, and I was working in their diabetes space. And then I went to this program called the Stanford Biodesign Innovation Program. And that's a super cool program that brings together engineers and doctors and business people and lets them, have a process and room to innovate in different fields of medicine. And when I was in this program, I was observing a complicated surgery that was made more complicated by internal scars that the patients had from a previous operation. And this made it so that the patient had to be under anesthesia for a lot longer and had a higher risk of injury in the second procedure. And I saw what's currently being done to address these internal scars, and I decided that I can do better for the patients. And that's where Hakala Medical is born out of. After that program, I spent a year working as a global health fellow for the United Nations out in Switzerland.
Wow.
Thank you. But I just got back to the US last October, and then in November, I founded Hakala Medical.
Do you think that your experience going overseas and everything and connecting it's almost like connecting puzzle pieces, right? Did that help with the passion behind the project?
I think so. I mean, I think it's great to be able to, learn from everyone and get experiences in as many different areas as you can. I'm also a first generation immigrant to the United States. So when I moved to the US, I guess I already kind of had a little bit of that international flair, but it was good to get more experience on an international scale when I was in Switzerland last year.
Because I know obviously the US and there's a couple countries outside of the US that are known for their medical advances. So is Hakala almost like all in one, or are you more just US focused?
I mean, we want to help patients wherever they may be. The science of what we're working on is based on research that's done by several groups around the world.
Okay.
So, but right now we're operating in the United States, and we hope to spread and help as many people as possible.
Tell us what has been a tribulation, because I know it's not easy. It can't be easy with
Yeah.
medical clearances and getting into some of these programs or spaces. What's been some of the tribulations that Hakala has dealt with, and how did they deal with it? How did you deal with that?
Sure. So we are pretty early stage. We're 7 months old. But our first challenge that's coming up right now is fundraising. So in some spaces like software, it takes a little bit less time to fundraise, but in medtech, it takes on average about 8 months to raise a round.
Wow.
Yeah, but for a first round, that's expected to take a bit longer. So um, I've been doing everything I can to reach out to investors, and Hakala Medical was actually recently accepted into a pre-accelerator program that we just put.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I know that accelerator programs are such a huge help in the community all in their own. So I know that it's not easy to get into them. So congratulations on taking that next step. And I know that it's only going to bring bigger advances in Hakala. Um, what are some of the present issues you're having? And then what does the next 5 years look like?
Sure. So we have a really interesting product. I'll back up a bit and explain the problem, and then explain the product and why it's kind of weird and challenging. So we are making it safer for patients to have repeat procedures. Basically, your organs are supposed to be, or they're usually free floating. And when you have surgery, the first thing that the surgeon does is kind of push your organs to the side to get to the right surgical site. But once you have your first surgery, you get scars, not only on the outside of your body, but also on the inside of your body. And these scars make your organs stick together. So your surgeon, for any follow-on operations, they can't move your organs to the side. So the first thing they need to do is get rid of your internal scars so they can start the second procedure. And right now, this is done by cutting the scars apart with a pair of scissors. And unfortunately, there's a 1 in 5 chance that when your surgeon does this, they'll also accidentally cut the organs underneath your scars. So this causes bowel perforation, which can lead to infection and sepsis and death. Very
That's
serious problems.
so scary to even think about because this is not something that you're just like, hey, this is part of the process and this might be able to happen to you. You know, you go in there with the most positive, like, hey, you know, we got to do this in order to fix you up and to make sure things are better. But I don't think I've ever heard that, you know, the second time around is harder, the
Yeah,
third time gets worse, and you don't realize that. And there's so many people getting more and more procedures, whether it's like stomach surgeries or, you know, intestinal or any of those things. And that's a scary thought.
yeah, definitely. And especially if you're a woman and you're having your second C-section, or if you've had an appendix removed when you were a kid and now you need a hernia repair, it's kind of scary to think that the surgeries you needed before impact the outcome of the surgery you need now. Um, so we decided to do something about it. And at Hakala Medical, we're developing a gel that melts your scars away
From the inside,
from the
from the
inside.
inside out. Wow.
Yeah,
How does that work?
yeah. So
Do
this is
you take it? Do you ingest it? Do you do it like a vitamin every day?
yeah. So this would be the first step that the surgeon does during your next surgery. So when they open a patient up and they see that this patient has internal scars from a previous operation, they can put our gel on the scars, and it would
Wow.
just loosen them and make them go away. And then the surgeon can deal with them without bringing blades into the equation and without risking cutting into the healthy tissues underneath them.
Wow, that is like mind blowing to think that something as easy as a gel, you know, which sounds easy because obviously I'm almost 99% sure it's not easy,
Yeah,
to get this gel and that it'll help almost pre-prep for surgery, right? Because you know when you're getting certain surgeries like an endoscopy, they pre-prep you. Here's this, here's that. Take this. I'm going to put anesthesia, or I'm going to do one of these, and you know it's crazy because you do feel sometimes like I call it like the ghost that stays behind because you know you do an endoscopy and it's like, oh, how do you feel? I was like, well, I still feel like I have a camera down my throat.
yeah.
You know, and I can only imagine if that's what I'm feeling, what the inside actually looks like or is going through.
Yeah.
So something as great as this gel that would be able to help kind of facilitate that is such a great tool to have
Yeah.
eventually.
Yeah, definitely. It is challenging and weird though, because you were asking what were the challenges we faced in the past. If you think about how these scars are currently dealt with, they're cut with scissors. It's pretty easy to categorize scissors as a medical device, right, from a regulatory perspective. So
Right.
the first challenge we had was, how do we categorize this gel? Is it a drug? Is it a device? Is it something else entirely? So thankfully, Hakala Medical has some excellent advisors. We're very lucky. We're working with the Stanford section chief of bariatric and minimally invasive surgery to make
Wow.
sure, yeah, to make sure that this product is as usable as possible and as smoothly integrated into the surgeon's workflow as possible. And we're working with a formulation chemist with more than 30 years of experience in guiding and advising chemical formulation in the industry. And we're working with this expert regulatory advisor who is an amazing person. And she thankfully has worked in the internal scar space before. So she was able to help us understand how to categorize this gel and make sure that it will hopefully pass through FDA evaluation as smoothly and easily as possible.
How hard has it been for you to feel comfortable with finding the right people to work with? Because I know that is not easy because you're putting at the end of the day, people's lives in your hands.
Yeah.
So how do you pick those people? How do you say, you know what, you'd be great to work with us, or you're offering something amazing, or your talents or your skills?
Yeah, it's a good question. It's definitely something that I was nervous about. I mean, it's hopefully people that I'll be working with for a very long time, and so I wanted to make sure it's a good fit. And so, besides their obvious professional accomplishments, I'm very lucky to have met two of my three advisors through the Stanford Biodesign Innovation Fellowship, and then the third one was a referral from one of my other advisors. And I just really look for a personality fit as well to make sure that um, we would work well together and that we would be able to build this amazing product and help patients together.
What's the next 5 years looking like in the future of Hakalau?
Sure. So right now we're in fundraising mode. We're looking to raise $1.4 million. And with that, we'll conduct our own initial testing because we have some clinical data from other teams that use slightly different methods to melt scars. So we are raising this money so that we can work with a chemical formulation company, develop our initial prototypes, and run animal studies. With these animal studies, we'll prove out the safety and efficacy of our product, and then we'll move into first in human testing, submit our regulatory submission, and hopefully in 5 years' time, we'll be very close to commercializing our product.
That's amazing. And if you could snap your fingers right now and get any type of help or support for Hakalal, what would that look like?
Honestly, right now, we're looking for the right investor to partner with. That's our main focus. We're kind of at an interesting stage where we're really early, so it's too early for VC involvement. So we're looking for family offices and angel groups that are passionate about revolutionizing surgery or maybe have personal experience undergoing multiple surgeries that would like to get involved with our project.
I love that. What is the best way to get in contact with you in order to help out, or if there's support, or if there's somebody just as passionate as you are?
Sure. I think connecting with me on LinkedIn would be the best way to do so. The LinkedIn, my LinkedIn URL is highlighted below. Thank you, Jayla. And besides that, our website, hakalamed.com, HAKALAMED.com, also has a contact us page that would be a great way to get in touch with me and the team.
That's amazing. What are we looking forward to? I know this year has gone by I feel like some of us said it starts so slow. April was so long, March was so long, and then all of a sudden it was like May, June. Now we're in July almost. Do you have anything up and coming for this next couple of months that you guys are focused on?
For the next couple of months, we're focused on IP. So we have a provisional patent filed, and we are very excited to continue to work on the IP and file utility and method and process patents before the provisional expires.
That's amazing. What is, one more time, the best way to get in contact with you?
The best way to get in touch with me is my LinkedIn profile, which is highlighted below. Thank you very much.
No problem. Is there any advice that you have for other founders, especially other female founders, in whatever the space is that they're in? Because I know entrepreneurship and being a founder is not as easy as people think it is. So, what's some advice that you have?
I think my best advice is that just go for it. You got this. Um, don't give up. Keep working hard and surround yourself with fans that can help support you along the way.
I love it. Thank you so much, Neta. We really appreciate having you on today. And we look forward to, in the next couple of months and years, seeing how far you guys come with Hakala Medical. And I can't wait to have you back on the show and talk what stage you guys are at, because it never ends with the founder's life, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Thank you so much for having me on the show.
No problem. Thank you so much for being here. There you go, guys. That was another episode of Take It Up with Cafe Cultura. It's your chica Jayla. Until next time, bye.